All right, so we got this Connor Orr 100 bold predictions. We didn't read them all, obviously. We worked our way back from 100 down to 1. And the number one prediction was that the Detroit Lions would defeat the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. And here's what Connor Orr wrote about it. He said, my most recent set of predictions, one bold one for all 32 teams, which he wrote the day after the Super Bowl. He had the Bengals edging the Lions, but I'm slightly altering my pick based on a Lions team that is absolutely stacked and powered by the best of vibes. I've seen firsthand, as a Rex Ryan era New York Jets team beat writer, what making it to a conference title game can do for a team, and there's a difference between an accidental tightening disguised as confidence and real true confidence. I think this Lions team could not only claw its way to the Super Bowl, but romp in the process. Romp! Not only are we going to be good, we are romping.
Well, nickname Ford Field the Romper Room.
Is that what they're going to do?
I don't think so.
So what do you make of this?
Oh, I think it's intriguing. I think it's very possible, even though I only thought they'd win. I only think they'll win 11 games, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs won 11 games last year. So just get to the playoffs, win the division, and anything can happen. I think it's very realistic. I can't believe these words are coming from my mouth.
Well, here's the weird thing about it, is we have seen Lions teams actually be pretty good in our lifetime. We've seen some good teams.
Yes, but this is the first time where you could sit there and say there's substance to it. It's not just a I mean, the Lions, the Barry years they went 3 out of 4 years they went. And if it wasn't for their horrible stuff like Andel Second, Utley during the season, they might have done better. But even later than that, I mean, they were good.
I thought the 2014 Lions, the one that lost, that's the team that lost to Dallas, right?
Yeah. But then Sue left, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that we've seen Lions teams flare up and be good, and it never carry over to the next year.
Right.
This has such a different feel to it, such a feeling of sustainability. Nobody thinks what happens last year was a fluke because it was a carryover of the end of the previous season when they went 9-8 and defeated a playoff caliber team in the end when the Lions had, quote, nothing to play for. But they went on the road on a Sunday night. They finished that season going, 7-2 down the stretch. Last year they go 12-5, which makes them 19-7 in this stretch leading into this year. So it feels like 22-23 carried over. Many of the same people, stronger roster, upgrades where they needed it. It just doesn't have the characteristics of a team that flares up and fades.
No, we're just not used to having a team that year in, year out for a decent amount of time, we think they have a chance. Now, this is 2 years. This will be the second year where you thought you had a chance. Last year, you thought you were favored to win the division. So now it's one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl.
The one thing that happened last year is, what we got a lot of during the year was, I'll believe it when it happens.
Right.
I'll believe it when they win the division and host a playoff game. I'll believe it when I see them win a playoff game. And so in Detroit, the belief is at unprecedented heights because the people that asked, I assume now that those people that asked to see it first, that just couldn't bring themselves, and I'm not mad at anybody, but they couldn't bring themselves to envision a good Lions team being a real thing.
Right,
because they just have been fooled so many times before.
Right, you can't blame people, and I was one of them too, the whole PTSD thing. You've been burnt so many times, year in, year out, this, that. The culture is changing. It's different. It's a new attitude line. It never lasted anything.
Kang, what do you think of all this?
This is a real prediction. This isn't a hot take. This isn't a guy, I got to be the first person to call it. This is real. And it's because this is, I think when it happens, and I think it could definitely happen this year, is something like, we should have saw this coming. It's pretty obvious. That's the trajectory they're on. They just lost in the NFC title game, but they have a young core they built around. It wasn't like they sold out for last year to get to where they were. No, man, they were just kind of starting to hit their stride. These players are not even close to their peak, we think, with Gibbs, Laporta, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is a real thing. This is like I said, it's not a hot take. This is actually what should happen. Theoretically, they should be the next team. The Niners last year, before they made it to the Super Bowl, the year before they were in the NFC title game. They ended up losing because Purdy got hurt. But this is kind of like how it happens, guys. You get better, you build on it, and then you move forward the next year.
This is how it happens in 31 other towns. Yeah, this is not how it's happened here.
That's how it's supposed to happen.
I want you to check yourself there a little bit. We're looking like we are mimicking the characteristics of good franchises all around the NFL that have done this. And it's very believable. I believe they're going to be damn good. And at this point, them getting Super Bowl love, this is the first prediction I've seen basically prior to the season. Connor Orr, Lions over Bengals in the Super Bowl. There will be more.
Yes.
And he won't be the only one.
When you look at the team, realistically, what is their biggest weakness? Now, obviously, every team has something that is not as good as the other parts. It's still the secondary because you have question marks, but that's it, really. And another pass rusher, maybe. I don't know.
I find it hard to believe, and I use this name all the time, and I'll cite this play forever, that Terrion Arnold will let the ball go off his face mask the way Kindle Vildor did. In what should have been interception, helping lead to put 49ers away, to critical 49er touchdown in the second half. That's a massive swing.
Yeah.
A massive swing in that game.
Correct.